Hi, I'm Mike Langlois, and I wanted to give you a brief soundbite, brief video today on the stigma surrounding real relationships and how often in treatment and in consultation I hear parents and I hear other therapists talk about how child or a partner or someone else needs to have real relationships, that they're spending too much time online, and this is often problematic because it reflects difficulty understanding what online relationships are like, and it's also built on the idea that real relationships occur in the same room face to face, and that anything other than that is not a real relationship. So it sort of privileges one kind of relationship over the other. Now, I know as therapists we are used to valuing two people in a room talking about things as the right way or the best way to do things. And a lot of times when I talk with consultees about doing online therapy, they talk about it being sort of a diminishing sort of experience for them. My experience has not been the case. I use Skype, and I find that I experience people as real through Skype as I do in the room. But let's break this down a little bit, and you can certainly tell me what your thoughts are. Comment on the post. I'd be interested in hearing them. First off, the idea of real relationships is sort of problematic in that it neglects the idea that a lot of relationships that we have with people face to face are not real. I think people are talking about authentic, and my colleague Susan Gerleo has a great post on this, by the way, at her Real True Work website. You might want to check it out. But the idea that somehow because I'm in the same room with you, I'm being more authentic, doesn't necessarily make sense. And I think if you reflect on your own experience when you've been at a number of different social settings, you might kind of really get a sense of the fact that, I've been face to face with a lot of people and not having real relationships with them, whatever that means to me. Second, I think we really do need to understand that face-to-face relationships and online relationships overlap. A majority of adolescents that are interviewed talk about how they actually are texting and Skyping and emailing with people that they know, not perfect strangers. And the idea that we often hear, and the one that catches our attention in the media the most, is someone lured out into a dangerous part of real life by some person online. Those things do happen, and they're problematic, but it's a minority compared to the number of ways kids do use technology. They're either gaming with friends, or they're making friends through keeping up with friends through Facebook or texting, and occasionally they actually make friends through video games and then go meet them wherever they are. I've had patients that talk about going to different places to actually meet people with their parents and really getting along very well with the people they knew in their guild. So we really want to make sure we understand that real relationships and online relationships are often the same. They often overlap and enhance each other. And the last piece I really want us to think about is, if online relationships are inherently unsatisfying and inherently unsocial, then why are we still having them after probably 20 years of developing online technology? The fact is that people often assume that people that are having online relationships are not really happy, that they really would rather be in the same room with somebody, and that this is a default setting, and that they're inherently unsatisfied, and that there's something unsocial about them. But the fact of the matter is that we wouldn't keep using online media if it was inherently unsatisfying. Now, I'm not saying we can't avoid people like we avoid people in real life, but rather than seeing the online technology as a way of avoiding, what about seeing it as a way of attempting to connect, a way of connecting to the best of a person's ability or to their preference? So that the idea that sooner or later everyone gets dissatisfied with online relationships or relationships through social media and needs to have a real, physical, face-to-face relationship really doesn't make sense. Because if that was the case, then none of us would be using Facebook or Skype or Twitter, or you wouldn't be watching this online. The fact of the matter is, technological advances have given us other ways to have satisfying relationships. They may be different, and people may avoid things just like they avoid things in face-to-face life, but that doesn't mean they're inherently unsocial. So when you are sitting with a patient, and when you're talking with a patient or their family about their time online, try to remember that it's not always in the patient's best interest to privilege one form of connection over another. That a lot of times what may not seem real to you isn't necessarily not real to the patient. And that if we're privileging one way of knowing things and one way of meeting with people, we're intruding our values into the therapy. So that's my 2 cents today about what a real relationship is and how it works with technology. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts as well, so feel free to weigh in on the blog comments. This is Mike Langlois, LICSW. Thanks for listening. Bye.